Hello and welcome back to Iron's Alex. I am Alex and I'm here to chat West Ham. How you all doing tonight? I'm a little bit chilly, hence why I've got the jumper on. We can't afford to put the heating on 24/7. I don't think most people can these days, can we? Because of cost of living. But we've had it on for the majority of the day, but this time of night it does tend to turn off because everyone else is in bed while I sit up and make content. Hence why I'm doing it now. But it does mean that it's a little bit chilly. Now in the office I can lock the heat in, so it's not too bad. But as soon as I open that door, man, can you feel it? You really can. It's an old ass. It's not fantastically insulated, even though the part I'm in right now is the new build that is fully insulated, so it probably shouldn't be as cold as it is. But it is pretty freezing outside, isn't it? Anyway, we're here to talk West Ham, aren't we? And today we're going to talk about Freddy Potts. Freddie Potts did the Ironcast podcast on West Ham this week. I watched it today. Thought it was a really fascinating watch. Really was. And I'm just so excited about Freddie. I really am. I have been uh, speaking about this guy for a good couple of years. After seeing him play for Wickham 2 seasons ago, I was like, yeah, he's going all the way. And he just proved it again last season when he was playing for Portsmouth. Portsmouth fans absolutely loved him, and he was putting in great performance after great performance after great performance, really commanding in that midfield area. And I was really excited to see him given an opportunity this season at West Ham. Now, obviously, he got his opportunities, didn't he, in pre-season, and we saw him playing. And I think that he, along with all of us, were very disappointed when Graham Potter left him out of the Premier League side for our first few games of the season. He did come on in one of the games, but we were all left a little bit confused as to why he was given so many opportunities in pre-season, but then not used in the Premier League after he impressed and he put in really good performances in pre-season. But all that's behind him back because Nuno came in. And after a little bit of a questionable start by Nuno, he has given Freddie some opportunities. And so far, he has impressed. And I've been thinking this for a little while, seeing him play, seeing how commanding he already is in that midfield, seeing the aggression that he's got, that grit that he's got, that work rate. He is a future West Ham captain. I know that's a little bit premature. He's only played 2 games, but he is. And I'm not saying he's going to be a West Ham captain in, this year or next year or even the year after, but in a few years, I really can see him being a West Ham United captain and following in the footsteps of his dad, Stevie Potts, a player who, by the way, played at right back in the very first West Ham United game that I watched back in 1993, which makes me feel extraordinarily old. Extraordinarily old. I'm not that old, but it makes me feel it because I remember watching his dad play. His dad was the very first West Ham United player that I ever met. I think it was a charity game or something that he was watching, and I remember seeing him. I got his autograph. But he was the very first West Ham United player I met, Stevie Potts. Must have been, I don't know, 1995, 1996, something like that. And now we are getting to watch not his first, but his second son star for West Ham after his first son already made a star for West Ham, Dan Potts, a few years ago. But Freddie is the one that I do feel like is going to go a long way. At West Ham, I really do. I'm just so excited about his future, and watching the Irons Cast podcast, him talking about things, like the opportunity that he got in pre-season and how he was disappointed that he didn't get a start, talking about him getting that opportunity and taking that opportunity with both hands and him wanting just to show what he can do. I just love that determination from him. There was a couple of things that he said in that interview as well that really did impress me. One of them was after that disallowed goal that he had against Newcastle, he just forgot about it and he moved on and he just focused on the game. He focused on his job to the point where he actually forgot that he even scored a goal. And he only remembers after he was reminded about it after the game, which I think shows a huge amount of maturity for a player his age, because there'll be so many other players that probably would have let that dwell a little bit. They'd be thinking about, oh, that's really annoying that I didn't get that goal, and it would have frustrated them. But no, he put it to one side, he focused on his game, and he continued to put in a great performance. And I think that just shows, as I said, great maturity for a player of his age. And I said this in one of my videos that I made, I think after the Burnley game, the way that he is playing now, he is playing like a player who has been playing Premier League football for a hell of a lot longer. He is playing like someone who is a lot older than him, and I think that's really positive. And also the way that he conducts himself on that pitch as well. We have seen him be a little bit more commanding. He's not afraid to tell other players where they need to be or what they're not doing right. We've already seen that from him, which I think is really positive. But he's not afraid to get stuck in. He'll put in a challenge. He's good on the ball. He's got all the qualities to not only go on to be a brilliant Premier League midfielder, but a fantastic captain for West Ham as well. And that does make me really excited for him and his future. He also spoke about in the podcast how his experiences at both Wickham and Portsmouth were really beneficial to him, really beneficial, and how young players going out on loan is a really good idea because it gives them that game time. Now, obviously, not all young players get the opportunities that he got. He got 2 fantastic loan deals where those teams really did use him and they got the benefits of using him, but it doesn't always work out that way for loan players. But that's because he put in the work. He is a hard worker. He is determined. And that is part of the reason why he got those opportunities. And those teams benefited from playing him, and he benefited from being given those minutes. And he even said in that podcast he's not sure that he would have gone on to become the player he is now if it wasn't for those experiences. So that was really positive. He also spoke very highly about both Wickham and Portsmouth, not just the clubs, but the fan bases as well. And I'm sure that the fans of those teams would be, delighted to hear that. And he had a good relationship with them. And he's now building a relationship with the West Ham fans who already love him. And while other people were talking about players like Lewis Salford and George Murphy and Callum Marshall and Ollie Scholes, all players that I think show a lot of promise and have got bright futures ahead of them, I was always thinking, Freddie is the one to watch. Freddie is the one that is going to shine first if he is given that opportunity. So I'm really, really glad that he has, and it's good to hear that injury that he had after the Burnley game was only a dead leg, so he should be in the side for our game against Bournemouth for the weekend, which will be handy because I think Paquetá's suspended, so we're going to be one short there. But having him in that midfield alongside Matheus Fernandes ensures that we still do have the pace and the legs in that midfield. Even if someone like Thomas Soucek does come in to replace Lucas, we've still got 2 players in there very comfortable on the ball, very good on the ball, and have that pace to be able to deal with a pacey midfield that we may be playing up against. So that is definitely a positive because a couple of months ago, we didn't really have that. Last season, we didn't really have that. So I think that is a relief as well, that we do have a little bit of stability in that midfield. And I'm just overall, very pleased for Freddie, and I'm excited for his future. So I don't know how this season is going to go for him, but if he continues to put in the work and put in the performances that we've seen him put in over the last couple of games, I do think he could have a really, really good season. A really, really good season. And there's even a certain award that I wouldn't be surprised if he's up for if he continues on the path he is currently on. Not getting ahead of myself. I'm not. But you heard it here first. Anyway, that's just my thoughts on Freddie right now, as per usual. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you're not already doing so, please make sure you're hitting that like and subscribe button for more West Ham United content. Anyway, I think we're going to go to bed. It's warm in there. Have a good evening. See you later.